Bharat, in a learning lesson on this one, just thinking out loud, I figured it's easier than texting you this one. We could do this on stage as this goes. I think we need like startup music, like something like nice to play, like as a town hall starts to go for the future.
Nice feedback. Thank you, Keith. I'll start
What are you,
something. Hold
by the
on.
way, are you in a cave? Like, what's going on?
Hold
Like,
on.
this is great. Like,
Yeah, I am in a cave. I've been in an NFT cave.
okay. I see a lot of the artists in the crowd and a lot of great friendly faces. Thank you for joining us today. I see Charlie Palmer. Oh, Billy Alter. It's great to see you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. We're going to start probably around, I would say, 2:03, 2:04. We just want to give everyone a chance to be able to come and join. And just so you know, we're going to post all the keynotes from this town hall afterwards on announcements. So no one needs to write anything down or anything. I don't know if you're planning on writing anything down, but I just want to make it as easy as possible. We all just want to make it as easy as possible. I see Hoda's in the audience. Hello, Hoda. Amir, good to see you. And Shayna Wilson, amazing to see you. Thank you for joining. Oh. Maya, you have to come up on stage. You can't sit in the audience. I see Perrin's there. Jesus Martinez, how are you? I see Dylan Arquetti. It's good to see you. Julie Pacino. Oh my, John Mavrados. Oh, it's great to see all the artists in the crowd. Thank you so much all for joining. Mai, you just have to put yourself on mute. Perfect. We're just going to give it a few more minutes. Sorry, everyone, as the room just goes up. I just want to make sure because it's the first inaugural Timepieces town hall. I don't want anyone to miss if they're coming in a little late. We also, just as you're learning us, we're learning you, and we just don't know what time zones everyone is in. And it's something that obviously over the coming weeks and months and years, very keen to get to learn and understand, so that way we can schedule these at times that make the sense for the largest group to be able to attend, and then obviously put into place the forms of communication to get it out to as many of you who can't attend. So we'll just give it another minute or so.
I have some music in the meanwhile.
Do you have some?
You don't hear it? Okay.
No.
Sorry. Hold on. Hold on.
encontrarme contigo anoche. Solo era una más, una noche linda, algo especial. Pero algo está tan diferente, todo alrededor me gira
It's too
de
loud. It's too loud.
todo
Farad,
cambió
it's too loud.
de
Too loud.
sí,
It's too loud. It's too loud. I don't
Next
like
time, you're
that.
a real DJ.
Yeah, I don't. That is too loud. It's too loud. Okay, so we're at 271 and climbing. I think we'll give it one more minute just to allow the maximum number of people, and then we're going to start to kick this off. Okay, I think that we should go. So Maya, Bharat, Lane, thoughts? Should we start?
I think
Yeah,
so.
let's get going. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I guess the proper way to start off any Web3 town hall would be good morning or good night. At one point within the past 14 days, I promised I would open this town hall by saying the following. We are here. We believe in this Web3 revolution, and we're here for the long run. And if this is the first time you've heard this voice, this is Keith, and I just want to introduce myself. I'm the president of Time. And I wanted to just pause there for a moment and say thank you for joining us today and welcome you to our first official town hall together. A few days ago, I guess, or a week ago, I wrote the following on Twitter, and I just want to read it to you, and I apologize because this part I'm just going to read from a tweet, which was, I wrote, "Why do I love the Web3 community? Easy. How many times have anonymous people ever reached out to provide constructive feedback and guidance to help ensure another individual's success without ever asking for anything in return anywhere else in life? Thank you, Web3 community, and good night and good morning." And why did I want to start our first town hall with this message? Because I think I simply wanted to say thank you to you all. As I hope you've seen, we are listening. We are listening a lot, and we're responding as quickly as we can in real time. And hopefully you would agree, we've made a lot of great progress over the past 14 days in real world time, or I guess it would be 14 days in real world time would be something like 976 years in the NFT space. But thank you. We've just gotten tremendous feedback and support from this community, and it is much appreciated. And before we get started, I did want to address a few things that may be on your mind, so that way I could put to ease everyone's sort of POAP fears. There will be no POAP issued at this town hall. We will start issuing POAPs at the next town hall and find other ways to reward engagement over time outside of just minting alone. But there's no POAP for this town hall. And I just want to make sure that was clear from the get-go, because it was one of the things that kept on coming up in the questions and in the suggestions. Future town halls will also be more interactive, but we have so much that we have to get through in this town hall that we made the town hall questions section in the Discord, and we'll be reviewing and doing our best to respond to all of these ASAP over the course of the next day and few days. Additionally, we'll be posting key highlights from this town hall in the announcement section shortly thereafter, just so you all know. And so, if somebody has to hop out early, do not worry. If someone comes in late, do not worry. Or if somebody just couldn't make it, do not worry. We want to make this as simple as possible, but there's a lot that we want to get through today. So I guess, first and foremost, please know that our goal, the goal of timepieces is to build as much value as possible for the community, the artists, and for time, but not for days or weeks, okay? Like years and decades, right? And I need to provide some context. I think it's really important. Timepieces has been live for only 14 days, and we have learned a lot during that 14 days, but it has only been live for 14 days. And when we decided that this was the area that we wanted to move into with our brand, it was not days and weeks that we thought about it for. It's years and decades that we're thinking about it. And one of the best aspects of the Web3 evolution, in my mind, in the team's mind, is that we get to do this in partnership with you. But it's also important that we share the same vision and the same horizons. And we recognize that as long as those are aligned, that's where value comes into play. Thus, I just need to make sure that you're aware of that, because there are a few things that you need to know. Like the team at Time, the mods, the community managers, as we continue to staff up, are never going to comment or respond to comments about floor price. And we're also not going to employ short-term gimmicks at the expense of the long-term vision. If we succeed with timepieces, and I mean we, meaning Time and the community, or the community and Time as we see it, we are all successful together. Time, just so you know, and just stepping back, is a 98-year-old brand, right? And this Web3 evolution's our first major step towards ensuring a strong existence for the next 90 years. That's how we're thinking about this. And also, please know that our intentions are good. That is why we priced the pieces at 0.1 ETH. Our vision for this community was to be an inclusive community, and that's what we'll continue to strive toward. And you may also know this, but we have been issuing one-of-ones of our covers as NFTs since March, and you may have seen our cover with Beeple last night sold for 675 ETH. But it sold 6 months later for 675 ETH. As it relates to this launch, I mean, to be honest, we were blown away by the response from this community. But we were floored, actually. And many people in the audience today know this. They know that I was nervous the night before that nobody was going to buy timepieces, that I was insane in pushing the brand into this area with Maya and Barad and Lane. But what we saw was the complete opposite. OpenSea shared with us that in the hour of our minting, their total volume quadrupled versus their hourly volume average. I mean, think about that. This is OpenSea. Quadrupled versus their hourly volume average. To provide further context, and I said this one stat publicly, 1 million people visited nft.time.com within the first 24 hours of going live, and nearly 15,000 people attempted to mint at noon a few weeks ago. And this was beyond our wildest expectations. I mean, just so you know, I could not have anticipated this, and I am humbled, and I've said this publicly, and I don't mind repeating it. These past 2 weeks have been the best and the worst weeks of what I feel like is my life, because at times I feel like we've done something very special, and times I feel like we've disappointed the community, but at times I feel like we've listened and we've changed, and that's all we can continue to do is to strive forward. And our goal for the Time brand and for this community and this Web3 evolution is really threefold. First is we want to highlight the work of great artists. This is something Time has done for nearly 100 years. Think about this, like Chagall and Wittgenstein and Warhol and others. Time has always highlighted the artists that have mattered for every era, right? And that's what I wanted to seek out, and that's what we wanted to strive for with our launch, right? Who are the artists that are making an impact today, whether it's NFT artists or whether it's, traditional artists that want to enter into the NFT space? I mean, one of the stats that I think is really important about this initial Genesis drop and the inspiration drop is 50% of the artists have never done an NFT before in their entire life. And bringing more people into this world, into the Web3 community is something that's really important to us. The next is celebrating living history. This is something we know. We know that people turn to time to understand key moments in time, and we want to use this moment and we want to use this community to do that. And then the third is really to tie this community into time's global brand moments and access, but not just for drops, right? Like, we have to think beyond drops, right? Like, it's not enough to just say, I have an NFT and it has utility. And we'll get into what the utility is in a moment, but for programming as well. One of the things that we have is the Time brand is a tremendous content engine, a tremendous access. And what you're going to see take place within this Discord channel very soon on the roadmap, and I'm going to highlight it today, is we're going to start with access to the artists, and we're going to move into other areas of our brand as well over the coming weeks and months and years. Our goal is to connect you to time, not just to the NFT, and in turn, like, to connect time to the Web3 community. So what does it mean to be part of the Time community? Because the reality is this: if we don't establish a community, then you shouldn't be part of the timepiece collection. Like, you shouldn't own a timepiece collection, because the value is going to come from having the piece, but then having a strong community and having a community that reinforces the value of the piece. And then ultimately what that piece represents is you as a human being and as you as a badge, right? And so the Time community and the community that we want to establish is one that values inclusivity. It's one that values engagement. It's one that values loyalty. We also want to value constructive feedback. Like, honestly, we're not perfect. We know that. We are going to make mistakes. But I will tell you, the negativity does not help anyone, right? So, if you have constructive feedback, do it this way. Please tell us. We want to hear that. If you want to tell me that I'm an idiot, just DM me directly. It doesn't have to go into the Discord channel, please. It's I could take that one personally. We value participation, but most importantly, we're going to value positivity, right? And it's really important, the other thing, and this is going to be a golden rule of this community. We are not going to tolerate racism or hate in any form whatsoever, and we're going to ban you instantly if you move down any path that seems racist or hateful. And we don't care who you are. We don't care how many timepieces you own. There will be no place in this community for people who push hate. This is an inclusive community, and we want it to be a positive community. And when I look across the ecosystem of communities that I respect and I love, that engage me, and I look at them and the cool cats and the robotos and the dead fellows, and there's others too that I'm not naming, but those are the ones that I personally am the most engaged with. What I see is positivity, and I see people building each other up and helping each other out and providing value to each other. And that was what actually pushed us into this arena, because I love that aspect of the NFT evolution in the Web3 sort of revolution. And what's our vision for this community? Well, we want to establish an amazing community of artists, collectors, and potential collectors. Time, and I've actually only been at Time for 2 years. And just so you know what my background is prior to Time, I was 5 years at Bloomberg Media. And prior to that, I spent almost my entire career at Wired and Ars Technica. But Time's an incredible brand, and it's one that I'm so proud to be part of. It's one that all of us on stage are proud to be part of, and our colleagues that are in the audience are proud to be part of. And we love representing this brand. But we also are aware of this important role that we're playing, helping to take NFTs mainstream as we come into this space. We received so many notes from community members about how their parents or family members were engaged with them and talking about time and NFTs for the first time ever. I cannot see what that means to us. Those are the best stories. And so for me, And on behalf of Maya and Bharat and Lane, like, thank you for sharing those. Please keep sharing them. And there's also been a lot of requests surrounding, like, how are we going to market this and how are we going to support this, this evolution of our brand. And please know this, we have big plans for this community. But again, I have to reiterate, we are only 14 days old. We first need to build the foundation. We need to establish a positive, inclusive community. We need to resource this evolution properly before we turn on the proverbial fire hose, right? Like, the last thing I want to do, the last thing any of us want to do on stage is promote this too fast, too big, before it actually has a strong foundation. And as we're all beginning to see in real time this community take shape, and we've gotten a lot of incredible feedback, but in reality, we still have a lot to do, right? Like, you may have noticed, and like, I find this one to be the funniest example, so this is the one I'll bring up. Like, we only got the vanity URL for our Discord channel 2 days ago, right? And so it's like, we are far from perfect, but like, we have our goals and our eyes set on constantly improving. More importantly, please know that, at least in my opinion, there's no legacy brand our size that believes in this evolution as much as we do. I can tell you right now that there's nobody, minus maybe Gary V, who I admire and respect and talk with, who are as dedicated to seeing the success of the Web3 evolution. But we are essentially, and this is what I feel like all the time, if you've seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, we essentially feel like we are on that, quote unquote, invisible bridge. And the only thing guiding us forward is this belief in this revolution, this belief in this evolution, our understanding of it, and your guidance. And please know this also, like, because we're just trying to address, and I want to address before we get into roadmap and utility, the feedback and suggestions that we've gotten, but that we are in contact with other communities. And what we've heard that they've all gone through similar phases in it. But as you know, we've done a lot with the Cool Cats in the past, and they've been a wonderful resource for us. Same with the Robotos, right? Like, my previous call was actually with Pablo and with Zach, and they were incredibly helpful. But at the same time, they're very different from us, right? Our goal with timepieces is to invite you into the time ecosystem just as much as we want to bring time into the Web3 ecosystem. Our goal is to bridge the best of the past with the best of the present and the best of the future. And that's what excites me the most about a brand like ours being able to evolve in this type of manner. And so over the past 14 days, the team leading this at Time, which has primarily been at the forefront of it, and there's a much larger team behind the scenes, that I wish I could include, is really been myself, Maya Drazen, Barack Christian Lane. And, I could tell you flat out, 4 of us, we have slept no more than 3 or 4 hours combined. I've probably lost about 8 pounds. I look great, but everyone tells me that for the first time. I guess I looked a little chubby before. But at the same time, I can tell you that, like, we have never been as excited as we are. And we owe that to you, and we owe that to your support. We owe that to your belief in us, even before we started to lay out the game plan that we will today. And so before I go further, I just wanted to take a minute. And I know you know me as Keith, and I gave a little bit of my history, but I wanted to introduce you to the team. And so, Bharat, do you want to take 1 second and just introduce yourself, please, and tell everyone, who are you? Why should they care? What have you done in the past that's fun? And why did you blast the music so loud in the beginning?
I'll take the last question first. I'm not a Discord, and I'm not a DJ, so forgive me. We'll have a better DJ next time. Pleasure meeting everybody, and thank you for engaging on Discord with us. And I feel like I know some of you closely by now, and obviously behind an avatar and text. So would love to, at some point in time, be able to meet even in person. Let's see, right? So, of course, like Keith mentioned, my name is Bharat Krish, CTO at Time. Prior to that, I was at. I started my career as a software engineer. I'm still a software engineer at heart. I do tinker with Python and data science in my spare time, and so I started my career as a AI researcher, which was 20 some years ago when AI wasn't that popular. But I'm so happy to see it is again. So I went through a journey in the corporate environment of working for NBC for 13 years and then for HBO. I was in charge of launching HBO Go streaming service in Latin America. And then after that, I was also responsible for launching NBCOlympics.com streaming service when streaming wasn't that popular. And then after that, I went to start two startups, one in the streaming space and one in the AI space. I even dabbled in crypto by trying to raise an ICO just before the altcoin bust. So that didn't work out well, as you know. And yeah, I mean, at Time, we believe we're a 98-year-old startup. So our tech product, our data team, all working like in a startup mode. So everything we do, even now we're starting our journey in Web3, we take it on as an iterative process, and we continue building upon it. Our goal is to launch first and continue iterating and making it better and better. That's our DNA. We also are super open to feedback, and that's also our culture. So please bring on the constructive and positive feedback, and we'll always take it and make changes and make this better for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know, Bharat hates when I make this joke, but Bharat has more degrees than I have family members. So Maya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. And thanks everybody for being here. And really, I know it's been said, and I'm sure we'll say it so many more times over the course of this town hall. We cannot thank you enough for your support. Everybody has just been so incredible in positive and making every morning that good morning really makes my day. So I'm Maya Drazen, or Miss Maya D at Time. In real life, I'm the SVP of Progress Marketing, which is a term that Keith and I made up, which is really to oversee consumer revenue and any initiative like this, which is going to move Time forward. Well, this is probably going to date me, which I'm embarrassed about, but that's okay. This whole Web3 thing feels like deja vu to me. I was fortunate enough to have a front row seat to Web 1.0 when I co-founded the Webby Awards with my best friend. And this feels exactly like that time. The community, the creativity, the entrepreneurial spirit, and the sense that something is just going to be so huge, you don't know exactly what it's going to be or how it's going to go, and you just want to keep at it, and you want to try out so many new things, and it's so exciting, and I just love that vibe, and I love being here. I was at Wired and Ars Technica with Keith for Web 2.0, although I have to say that doesn't really stick with me as to exactly what that was, although I remember all the branding about it. But I'm just so glad, as Keith mentioned, to be at Time for Web 3.0 as we take on this next evolution of the web and our brand, because, you know, I came to Time because time is time, and it's so, and I feel so honored to be able to represent it in any way. But I came to Time because Time is something that can talk to everyone. It talks to people all around the world. It talks to the most influential people in the world, and it makes, it brings that information and down to anyone who wants to hear it in a way that anyone can process it. And it is known for taking just this kind of moment and making them accessible. And so I'm really psyched to be able to do that here. For timepieces, you will see me answering questions, usually in the early morning or the later parts of the night, but sometimes popping in the middle of the day to do that. But I'm also overseeing the community development, the communications and marketing with Lane, who will tell you a little bit about herself in just a second, but I just wanted to say, as I think we're all saying, we're all learning, and you all have been so gracious in supporting us in that learning. And I too welcome any bit of feedback, any moment of any day, via DM or any other form that you can get me. So Lane, on to you.
Hey guys, I'm Lane, and just to kind of parrot what Maya and Bharat said, I'm thrilled to be here with you all, and I'm every day I am so I can't believe that we're getting such incredible feedback from the community, so thank you. My background is actually in the arts. I started my career doing VIP relations for Art Basel Miami Beach, and then moved on to doing various other roles in communications and events. At Time, I work closely with Maya, and I handle special projects, but I think starting, 10 days ago, I will be focusing most of my time on timepieces.
So Lane is very humble. We call her, and I give permission to anyone in this community to call her MacGyver, because through my 2 years at Time, she has been thrown every which way, and every crazy cockamamie idea that I've come up with, or Maya has come up with, or Bharat has come up with, and she has figured out a way to be the glue for everything that we do. So that really is the I would say the core team that has been at the forefront. But there's so many others behind the scenes, and before I go on, I also wanted to take a moment and I know this is not traditional, but I wanted to thank some community members who have really gone above and beyond to help us over the course of the first 2 weeks. First and foremost, Zykes, we really appreciate what you've done for us. And when I wrote that tweet, you were the reason that I initially wrote that tweet, but every person that I'm essentially thanking is also part of that tweet. I'd like to thank JDOT. I'd like to thank Adman. I'd like to thank, Vincent, I don't know how to pronounce your name on this one. I think you need a phonetic spelling or something, but Spvce, 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 who's given great advice, DeFi Stalker, Spot Long Don Crypto, Big Wise Guy, Nizzer.eth. Hey, Nizzer.eth, I'm a .eth too, if you noticed. If you look at my Twitter, maybe we're related, right? Collect, Andrew Wang, Z, Bulls on the Run, Quirrell, Patricio Walthalter, obviously the team at Cool Cats, Evan, Colin, Tom, Rob, the team at Robatos, Pablo Stanley and Zach Tanner, NFT Studios, and of course, all of the artists that participated. But with a special shout out to Perrin, who, has just been in the Discord day in, day out, explaining her experience and being just such a wonderful advocate for the community. Thank you all so much. So what does our roadmap look like? Okay. We did put thought into this. I want you to know that. We did not launch without thinking about this, but, we wanted to really make sure that we got a lot of the foundation in place first. By early next week, you're going to see the inspiration drop on time.com. Okay. These pieces are beautiful. They're original, and they will be celebrated and promoted publicly. I just think that I'm so proud of the fact that, we could get 25 artists, to produce original pieces and to provide them as an airdrop. And in my mind, the value of an airdrop is no different than the value of a minting, as long as we provide incredible quality. And that's what I think this is. And we're so proud of this that we want to put this on time.com. Starting on October 12th, we're going to be hosting conversations with artists in this Discord channel for all timepiece holders, which include the Genesis and Inspiration holders. These series are going to run weekly and are currently programmed through November 23rd. And we're going to continue to update and build upon these with additional programming over time. And we're going to post the schedule with the current artist lineup in the announcement section today, just so you'll be able to see, and then you'll be able to join any of them if you are a timepiece holder. Through mid-November, we're focused on highlighting the Genesis drop both through the artist talks, social media, and artist spotlights. which will be unannounced and surprise and delight airdrops for the pieces you own. And so I know that some people saw the Justin Aversano airdrop, and that was timed for his show yesterday. But every artist is going to have an airdrop that was part of the Genesis collection, and they're not all going to look or feel the same. It's going to be up to the artist, and it's the artist's opportunity to share something special with their collectors, but they all will have red borders. Okay, that is something that I know is important that came up. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that we can do with this community is to be able to connect the artists with the collectors and to give a more intimate relationship. That to me is one of the best aspects of this Web3 evolution. As for promotion of the pieces of the Genesis collection, I'm not sure if everyone is aware, and we will promote it more as it gets closer, but all of the timepieces will be on display from the Genesis collection at Metaverse's Dreamverse, which will be taking place in New York City at Terminal 5 on November 4th. We also have an allocated number of discounted tickets available for Genesis timepiece holders in New York City, and details will follow on that. In November, we are also publishing a coffee table book surrounding the Genesis collection, and we're working on securing a discount for timepiece holders should you wish to buy one. Our next collection, since people kept on asking when are you going to mint next, is actually going to be on November 16th. It will debut on time.com and will mint on November 17th at noon Eastern Standard Time, which was the exact same time as our previous mint. And after that, we'll move around what the mint times are based on the feedback from this community. As I mentioned in the beginning, like the only reason we're choosing that time is because it was the exact same time that everyone collided at the first minting. And we wanted to make sure that we provided fairness to people who had done it at that moment in time and not to bias on that fact. But as we learn more about the community, as we learn more about you, and we learn more about your location, the times for future drops will change. The theme of this collection that will come out and will debut on November 16th will tie into the timing of our Person of the Year franchise. It will not be Person of the Year, but it will tie into the Person of the Year franchise. And then following that collection, we'll be releasing one more collection mid-December that we're calling, quote unquote, a slice of time. And we believe, given how many of you have asked for PFPs, that this will be our opportunity to provide you with a unique PFP collection that the community has been requesting. And it will take us time to build properly, which is why we wanted to push it to the end. But just so you know, our creative director, D.W. Pine, has already started to work on its development. And of course, in addition to the artist spotlights and the airdrops that you would receive, we do have a few more surprise and delight airdrops that will come through the end of the year. And so I don't want to give too much away on that, but like we have a lot of resources to play with, and we want to make sure that we're constantly adding value back to our collectors. So what is the utility do these timepieces provide? First, I want to step back for a second, and I need to reset one thing, which is this is a community that we want to be inclusive. And we have to remember that as we're striving to balance inclusivity, there is a reality that we have to also provide some exclusivity. And so here's how we are going to roll out the benefits. Timepiece Genesis holders will receive unlimited access to time.com through December 31st, 2023. All you need to do is go to time.com, the nav bar, and select Connect Your Wallet. It's that easy. All other timepiece holders in the future, including the Inspiration collection, will receive unlimited access to time.com through December 31st, 2022. All time cats, or the mint passes as we'll call them, will receive unlimited access through March 31st, 2022. All of this, the Genesis access is already available, but all of the rest will be available early next week. Over the course of the coming months and years, we're going to host many many virtual events in this Discord channel and sometimes on time.com. Some of them will be VIP and will only be accessible to small groups of Genesis holders, whereas others, like the artist discussions, will be accessible to all timepiece holders. Spotlight and artist airdrops will be provided to all timepiece holders. Merch will eventually be made and accessible, and it will be accessible to everyone. But the two things that we're going to make exclusive to Genesis holders is the access to some of Time's in real life events, when they return, of course, obviously, as well as first looks and testing of new Time products. And finally, you have to remember, we have a lot of partners outside of this ecosystem, and Genesis holders will receive access to some of these events where we can make them happen, and all other timepiece holders will receive discounts where we can make them happen. So now I'm going to just turn it over to Bharat for a second, Time's incredible CTO, who will address how we are thinking about gas and bots and co-ops. Oh my. Bharat?
Hey there. As Keith mentioned, our next new collection mint will be on November 17th. But we wanted to address a bunch of things before that. So we learned a lot from our last drop. We also appreciate all the constructive feedback from so many of you in the community. And we realized a number of things. I'm sure you'll agree with me on some of these things. We absolutely hate gas wars. We all hate bots. But we also know that we can't completely avoid them. And we hate that people who are new to crypto couldn't participate. So, and these are the things we're thinking about for the next drop. So on the other hand, we also love our holders, and we want to provide an outsized value to you, right? So, and as Keith mentioned, we love being inclusive. We want people to participate in drops, even if they are new to crypto. So, and again, and we'll continue iterating as we get the constructive feedback from the community as well. So nothing is 100% set until we make sure that our holders are happy. Okay, so a few things are changing in our process. One big one is we're going to move towards more of a minting pass plus a raffle process. So what does this mean? So first, let me address who will be part of the process. Our Genesis timepiece holders, our Time cat cover holders, and all other timepiece holders. So they'll all be part of the pool of the minting pass. For Genesis timepiece holders, it's consider that as a lifetime minting pass. So because we value you and we support your we value your support in our first effort. So that gives you a utility to use as a minting pass forever. All other timepiece collections will serve as multiple time minting passes. So we'll make that clear over time. And for the time cover NFT, it'll serve as a one-time minting pass, as I mentioned before. So in addition with these minting passes, you would need a POAP. So and we'll issue POAPs for a number of occasions. So starting with next town hall, we'll issue one, but also for other events, including conversations with our artists, to actions that are being taken. So there'll be a number of opportunities to acquire a POAP, and we'll make sure we provide the information to where to collect the POAP. Number of people have asked, what is a POAP? POAP is a proof of attendance protocol. That's what it stands for. These are digital badges to prove your attendance or participation to an event. There's more information in our FAQs. Please go check that out. Also, go to poap.xyz, and there's a ton of information there. So in summary, we're going to use the minting pass combined with our POAPs will give you access to the raffle. So how does the minting itself, how is that going to work? So we're going to continue using nft.time.com as our minting hub. It'll also additionally serve as a place to subscribe to the raffle. So before the drop, we'll have a raffle for those that have subscribed, and then whitelist the addresses that will participate in the minting. And for the whitelisting, we'll have some rules of what the whitelisting would comprise. So Genesis holders, timepiece holders will receive 45% of the available spots, followed by TimeCat cover owners for 35%, followed by our inspiration holders and spotlight holders will receive 20% of the available spots. So if you have a combination of that, you'll fit into what is the highest percentage. So that's I hope that's clear, and we'll continue providing more information around that and make it more clear over time. So once the raffle is done, we'll have and whitelisted, we'll have a window of time that you can go mint. This will help you pick the best time you need, the best gas-friendly time that you need to go mint. So you don't have to be in a gas war. And not to worry, we will randomize the art behind the scenes. So a 0001 will not necessarily have the rarest art piece. The other thing to know is you can only mint one per whitelisted wallet. I know for people, I'm sure people know how to game this by creating multiple wallets. But I think this provides the most inclusive approach for people with less or more in their wallet to participate equally. For people who hold more timepieces, we'll have multiple opportunities to benefit them in terms of airdrops and other things in the future. So not to worry. So when would the pieces be revealed? Once the minting period is over, we will reveal them. So and once it's revealed, they'll all go into a new collection in OpenSea. As we get closer to it, I'll provide more details. We're also discussing with a lot of experts in the NFT industry. So we are ironing out all the details behind it, and also the process and the smart contracts. All of that is in the next few days, we'll figure that out and iron out to make sure that this is a smooth process for everybody. So those are some of the details. Of course, please ask me any question in the Town Hall Questions channel, and I'll try to answer. And over time, we'll iron out more details as well. As I do, I'll pass it along. But right now, let me pass it on to Maya, who will speak more about the art, the artist, and the community. Okay.
Thanks, Bharat. As Keith noted, Time has always recognized artists who matter in every era, and Timepieces is now taking that into the NFT space. So connecting the artist community directly to their collectors is kind of at the heart of what we're trying to do here. Next drop will be very similar to the last one in format. We'll invite a group of artists who we admire and invite them to give an opportunity to another artist who they admire, which will allow us both, all of us, to expand kind of our horizons on who's making incredible art. As Keith noted, these are collections of incredible art at an accessible price point, with an element of random luck thrown in so we can deliver exponential value. We know that some of you had issues or concerns with the duals or the side-by-sides, depending on how you call them. But I want to make sure you understand those pieces. I feel like, we didn't have we had no opportunity really to communicate with you prior to the drop, certainly in a way that you could understand where these came from, because we really love these pieces. So when you get a dual, it's the pairing of the artist or the person who invited someone else to join. It's like, and they're being put side by side. And so on the left, you'll have the artist who Time invited, and on the right is the artist that they joined. And then I know that the Build a Better Future piece caused even further concern, but I think people didn't realize that wasn't like a ending moment. That was actually a piece submitted by D.W. Pine, our creative director, and who is incredible and has chosen the cover of Time every magazine for years on end, and has such a good eye and such a great curatorial perspective. And so, and when they're paired, it's because he chose the artist who's on the right. And as many of you saw on Tuesday, and as Keith mentioned above, we had our first spotlight where Justin Aversano dropped a piece in honor of his new gallery show. And that is really just the start of a spotlight series from the artists to their collectors. They won't be announced prior, but there'll be a surprise and delight airdrop, which will end up in your wallet. And then we'll announce it in the artist channel and in the announcement board when it happens, so you know that it's real and it's not a scam of any sort, and kind of to give you a little context. It's really an opportunity for the artist to share something that they're up to, or just offer something extra. It doesn't have to be a piece of art. It might be a book, a gallery flyer, a thought, or a sketch. And as Keith mentioned, it will have a red border. And if you have a dual featuring two artists, you will get two pieces, which adds a little extra value to those. And if you have a dual featuring Build a Better Future in the last instance, and whatever the theme is in the next instance, you will have access to a D.W. Pine spotlight. I do want to note that this is optional for the artists at this point in time, and we've had a lot of great response. But obviously everybody's busy. But so if you hold a Genesis piece where the artist doesn't have a chance to have a spotlight at least once within a given year, Time will provide you with a special airdrop to ensure fairness and equity across all that. So hopefully that helps a little with the art side of things. And again, this is such a piece that we're so excited about. In this 14 days at the start, just know this will be an incredible community. I love this stage of any community because you really see the organic participation, the artists who come in every day to say hello, or the community members who answer questions or write manifesto long summaries of the suggestions, and you know who you are, and we love you for it. And the noobs like myself, so I use the term because I am one, who want in and know that Time is a safe space to be introduced to the next thing. And I think that really is super important, going back to what Keith talked about, is Time is a safe space for people to learn things, and NFTs are no different. To us, the community will grow and develop in three pillars: the artists, the collectors, and the fans, soon to be collectors or toe dippers, anyone looking to get into the space. And we have to acknowledge right now that that's kind of a hard, unruly group to manage. But it is what Time has always done, and we know that we can do it here too. We have this believe in a give first mentality, which Bharat brought to the table from some of his efforts with Techstars. It's really about a network of people striving to be helpful whenever and wherever they can be. And from that comes fruitful thriving and success that we all want. We see this in action every day already. And so we know that this can be a part of our community, but I just wanted to mention it, and you will probably start hearing it more, and maybe we'll acknowledge people for being give first, or point out that maybe we could be give first in a certain situation. We are so lucky, I'm finding this, to have people with tons of experience in this space, which means like 2 years, but it is significant compared to my almost month or so. it's just like very experienced and savvy people in the space, and they've been so willing to share their point of view and guidance with us in all hours of the day or night. And these people with that passion and experience will be all of our master classes. And we're also lucky to have people who have just enough experience to know how to get things done, but also how to take their first step, set up your first wallet, buy your first NFT. And they can share that with everybody getting started, as well as their bright-eyed enthusiasm still for the space. And we're lucky to have people who are crypto interested. Keith always says, this is one of my favorite lines. He always says, when my mom calls and tells me about something, I know it has arrived. I think the last thing was Twitter. So now I'm sure it's
Wait. I'm just going to pause you for a second, just so everyone knows. The moment I knew Twitter arrived was when my mom called me and said, Keith, get me on the Twitter.
Yes.
And my goal is for her to say, Keith, I want an NFT. And that's what I'm striving for. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I like doing my raspy impersonation of my mom. So
that was good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So just to reiterate, in case some of you came late and it's been a little while, but I will move quickly. We value inclusivity, engagement, loyalty, constructive feedback, participation, and positivity. We will not tolerate racism or hate in any form. And it is really our goal to set our foundation and then grow with a big capital GROW. We're so grateful to all of you who've stepped up informally to manage and mod the community. And we're looking to set up community managers and establish a more formal mod roles in all time zones, ideally from this existing community. So if you're interested, please contact Lane and I. And Lane is about to share how we're going to get in touch. And I thank you all so much.
Hello again. We've shared a lot of info today and totally understand that you're going to have some questions for us. After the Discord, the town hall, our team is going to be in the questions channel to respond to you there. You can also always email us at timepieces@time.com. I monitor that box and try to respond as quickly as I can. You can also just feel free to send us a DM on Discord anytime something comes up. One final note from me, please keep a watch on the announcements channel, as follow-up materials and notes will be posted there throughout the afternoon. Now I'm going to turn it over to Keith to bring us home, I think.
So I guess I'll end with the way we started, which is thank you. I mean, we're going on now close to 50 minutes, and I know that we gave you a lot of information, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of questions still, but I hope that it gives you faith in just sort of how far out we're looking and how important this is to our brand's evolution and how dedicated we are to ensuring the success of this evolution. And secondly, I wanted to just say thank you, right? We really appreciate your guidance and advice over the past 14 days. It has been endlessly helpful. And to see real-time feedback and make real-time changes is just, it's exciting and scary and exhilarating all at once. For people who've worked with me for a very long time, they know that I have a Winston Churchill quote for pretty much any situation whatsoever. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't point out one that I absolutely love, which is difficulties mastered are opportunities won. And I honestly don't think we could say it better than that. We know that there's going to be some things we're going to get right. And, we know that we're still going to get a lot of things where we're going to learn from. But along the way, we just couldn't be more excited to get this going. And, a lot of people talk about this, but the reality is time is here. This is very real. We are doing this. We're not talking about this. We are doing this, and we're doing this with you. And so please, please, please continue to provide suggestions and feedback. And from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the team up here, on behalf of the organization at Time, I just want to end this Discord, our first inaugural town hall, by saying thank you. Thank you so much for all of the support over the past 14 days. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for steering us in the right direction. Thank you for helping us out where we might have missed something in like promotion in one area of our brand or another. Thank you for some of the suggestions that have been so big, and some of the suggestions have been so small, but in the details make such a huge difference. And so, please, please, please continue to use suggestions, continue to, provide feedback, continue to ask us questions, continue to give us ideas. We are so excited to build this together with you. And it's really important that we hold this in a very ourselves to hosting these town halls on a weekly basis at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will adjust the time based on what the response is from the community. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And on that note, we will end our first inaugural Timepieces Town Hall.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.